Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine, giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine, Business, Beer, and BS. I'm Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend and my partner, Blaine Birch of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man?
Whew. I have been just sprinting. And then I was right before the show, I was mentioning that it's only 2:00 here. I know it's like 4:00 for you, last point of the day. And I am just been scrambling all day to kind of keep up and catch up, and it's been super busy. So it's nice to have just a little bit of a second to just relax and talk a little bit and drink a beer. So excited about that.
Y'all still have like snow up there, right? I mean, it's still snowing. Still crazy snow.
In Canada?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think actually it was till just a few days ago. And then the hockey game was on the other day, and they said it was, what would it be? High 60s.
Okay.
Sort of out of the blue. And so it just flipped over and got kind of nice, but we don't want to be back there till it's all melted, and the streets will still be dirty and gross and brown and everything. But I'm hoping that all the snow will be gone before we get back there. So.
Yeah, I talked to a guy in Green Bay today. There's like 33 inches or something like that. I'm like going, it's 81. It's 81 here. So I don't know what you guys are doing.
It is screaming hot here. It's over 100 here. It was yesterday, and it's going to be hotter on the weekend. So I don't think we're going to be biking because we'll pass out unless we go super early in the morning. But yesterday I ended up working kind of late, and by the time I was done, we just headed over to, and I'm going to give them a plug, Pinnacle Brewing in Scottsdale. Terrific place. They got a barbecue food truck there. Dude, that is legit barbecue. It was unbelievable. So we had some barbecue and some beer, and then we sat around and played cards, and it was just a perfect, beautiful night. But during the day, it's smoking hot. So, yeah.
Well, hey, it's that time of year, right? It's that time of year. And what I'm talking about is that time of year for baseball, right? So, I mean, this is business, beer, and BS. So I'm having a Houston Astros Crawford Bach, right, from Carbach.
Nice.
Because I'm a Cardinals fan, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, the Astros, good enough. I love baseball. You're in the perfect spot in the country for baseball right now. So, hey, cheers to the Astros too.
City is overwhelmed with people right now going to spring training. We didn't go to any games this year. I guess we probably should have. I don't know. It's kind of a nice day to sit out there, but we won't be going now. It's just way too hot to sit out there. But so it is the 19th of March. So I am actually wearing a green shirt because it's St. Patrick's week. I'm going to say it's St. Patrick's week. And I have a Guinness, and this is really funny because my Guinness has all these like frosted roofs with snow on them from the winter, and it's like 100 degrees here. And this has nothing to do with the fact that my fridge is almost empty of beer. So this is all I had, really. Like, it was that and some of Heather's sours that you would not let me take and drink on my own. So I'm having a Guinness today. But you know what? I do enjoy Guinness. I know where you have Coors Light. That's my Guinness. It's my light beer that I just kind of have around the house. Get it for big packs of cheap beer. And I think it's actually underrated beer. Now that I've had thousands and thousands of beers, and then I go into a Guinness or a Kilkenny or Pilsner or Kel, and I'm like, some of these classic beers are fantastic.
Somebody said the other day, says, you never get sick. I'm like, I'm thinking this kills everything in my body. Like it just does.
Don't look at the ingredients. Okay.
It's doing something. It eats something up as it goes through, but who knows what it is. But,
working for it.
Yeah, we got other people that, buy us beers. We don't always just do Coors Light and all that, but I mean, our other beer sponsors, one is Karen Harrison up in Michigan, where I think they got a ton of that snow as well. But she is an Amazon bestseller with 3S Smart Consulting. And 3S Smart Consulting does a lot of cash flow work. Her name of her book, if you just want to check Karen out, go buy her book on Amazon. It is Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profits, and run and get it today. Run and get it today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. Devin, the biggest LSU fan on the planet. Thanks, Devin. He just keeps supporting us, keeping us flushing beer for forever here. I got to bring up my little show notes over here if I can find them. They disappeared on me. Yeah, Devin, thank you for all of the support, all the ongoing support. Here's my show notes. I just want to make sure we've got everyone listed here. So.
Right. And so I don't get yelled at again by neighbor Pat. He is always a long time, every week sponsor. He's either bringing down beer, even if it's not podcast, he's bringing beer down. He's a brewer himself. His son-in-law and daughter, I guess, are sponsors of the show every once in a while as well. So, Sean, Mariah, Pat, neighbor Pat, thank you very much for supporting the show. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate it. And so before we dive into our topic today, which is a very good topic, very topical topic for me, to be honest. But would always love to ask you to like, subscribe, follow, and buy us a beer. Go to mikeandblaine.com, or if you see us on LinkedIn, Facebook, message us and say, hey, you want to sponsor the show. $5 an episode. We will mention you. We have not had inflation on our sponsorships ever. But we are getting actually a lot of views now. We're actually getting some pretty solid views, and especially in our shorts and everything. So yeah, great. It's money well spent.
Yeah, it's thousands of views on about everything we do right now. So this is a really cool thing. Yeah. Season six, you know what? And we went through a couple evolutions, right? Of who we are, what we're going to talk about. This year is all about trending topics. So it's not just things that happen to me during the week, but it's stuff that you're talking about too, right? It's things that are out there. So this actually is topical for me. It's topical for you, because in reality, nothing starts complicated, but it just becomes complicated.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've done to ourselves in life. So I'm going to say right up front that simple is hard. But here's what's happened to me. I thought that, and I created a version of my app, pretty darn simple. It's probably just a step up from a calculator when it comes right down to it, right? It was kind of a simple, just and visual effects and those type of things. But this new one, I started calling all of my folks that come to the meetings two mores. Right. And they go, why do you call us two mores? I go, because every time I introduce you to a feature, you got two more things it needs. So every layer, every step, it just adds complexity that creates issues, right? It creates more issues. And are we really gaining ground?
Well, and it's such a tricky question. It's such a balancing act. The couple things that always come into my mind over the years, there's two. One is self-inflicted scope creep, because we'll start building something out because we know our customers need it. We know it's really important. And then we're the ones that are like, you know what, if we did this, it would really, give this extra flexibility and stuff. We always have to rein ourselves in and go solve the problem that our customers have, and keep it as simple as we can for something that's sophisticated. But the other one is minimum viable product. We've talked about that. Startups always talk about that. It's the V that matters. And I think a lot of times startups forget about that. So for us, the challenge we have is the competition out there. So we built cash flow forecasting software for sophisticated businesses, mid-market businesses, complex. They're all in spreadsheets. Every single finance team that comes to us is in a spreadsheet. The reason they're in spreadsheets is because they've checked out the other cloud tools, and they're simple, all right, but they don't do what they need them to do at all. So they have to go back to a spreadsheet, and these spreadsheets are epically complex. 50 tabs, 100 lines, 40, 50 hours a week in the finance team keeping these things up to date. So comparatively, we are freaking simple, like push a button, data comes in. But the balance for us is that if we don't give the sophistication and the control that they need, they're forced back to a spreadsheet. So if we just kind of go simple, we're not solving any problem for them. So in the context of it, it's like, okay, this is complex. We know what we have to do. How do we make it simple in that environment? How do we make it as simple as we can, but most importantly, viable? We solve the problem.
2012, we built that Finograph dashboard, and the whole thing was simple. And I remember sitting in the conference room, and we were looking at a quote from Einstein. Now, Einstein sometimes talks way up here, right? Like he's way over my head on a lot of things he says.
Yeah.
This one included. And I've said it on the show before, make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. Right. So it's like going, well, that's like guru-ish. That's like, right? I mean, that's like a guru, like a yoga would tell you. Huh?
Yeah. That's exactly it. You nailed the nail right in the head. That's exactly it.
So that's where it was. Okay, well, we're going to do everything for them. All you got to do is connect to QuickBooks and boom, we do it all for you. You know what the first thing people said was? What do I do? You read it. We already did it. and people wanted things to do. They just didn't want a software system that did everything for them, and all they had to do was look at it and then go take action. It was the strangest thing. We're looking at each other like, going, we have to give them shit to do now. Manipulate something, change something. What if? I mean, then all of a sudden the complexity starts in, right? And it becomes, what you don't want it to become.
Yeah, exactly. It's reminds me of the story, and I don't remember which sort of brand it is, but it was an instant cake recipe, and you could get basically it's like you add water, throw it in the oven, done. It was so simple. And they found that they really struggled to sell until they had people add an egg, because it felt like people then felt like they were doing something and they were actually baking, and it wasn't just mixing something up in a bowl, right? And we actually, this was a really interesting topic, because right before we got onto this episode, I was meeting with my team, and we spent quite a bit of time this afternoon. We're rolling out a new feature. Works. It's really cool. It is just really slick as hell, but it was a bit confusing in the UI. And so we talked about it. We experimented. We did a whole bunch of little iterations, and really, all we ended up doing a combo of three things. We changed the order of some of the functions. We changed the wording, and we actually did a little bit of a change in if you do this, then this appears. The function was all built. It looks back in time, and the user can say, I want to auto forecast based on this sort of time frame and do an average, or do this or do that. They got all these options, very clear and simple. But it's amazing how much easier to understand it got just from the actual words, the phrasing, the order of things, just in the UI. Didn't actually change the functionality of it, and it transformed it within an hour of all this work.
I've done that with just labels. Something that makes sense to me. Somebody go, I don't understand what this means. And I said, what do you think it should say? And they'll give me a different word. I'm like, going, that's probably better. And all of a sudden it solves a ton of problems. Just a label change. Now, I would be willing to say, though, that you heard the word optimize, right? Everybody's been on kicks, and I think we talked about that not too long ago. Everybody's optimizing everything from sleep to, to diet. It doesn't matter. Optimization, I think, is what broke simplicity.
Interesting.
That's me, because everybody trying to optimize. I mean, so you add more complexity to measure different things, and to look at different. You even said it. You said, I'm getting off of this. I'm not even wearing a watch. You went back to analog. Why? Because it's simple. It's easy. I don't need to measure all those things because there's not enough impact. There just wasn't enough impact in your life.
Well, and I think the go-to, like when you said simple is hard, when back in my design days, when I was teaching design, a couple degrees in it, we always talked about that. Simple is hard. It is epically hard, because it takes time, and it takes just all these iterations and that to get through it. But simpler or easier doesn't always mean less. So sometimes 2 buttons is simpler than 1 because it makes sense, because it clarifies things. So it's I think sometimes people say, well, just reduce, take things away, take things away, take things away. Here's this one big red button on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, what does it do? Everything. No, that doesn't, like, that there's this reduction doesn't, and like you said, optimization. That's how I think people see it, as like reduce, reduce, reduce. That doesn't mean that it actually works, or that it's easier to understand or simpler to use.
Yeah, I mean, you know as well as I do building software. As soon as you put a menu in, it like it'll take up as much space as you give it, that you let it. I mean, and occasionally I have to go. We have to kind of consolidate some of this. We shouldn't have 50 menu items. There should be like 4, maybe some sub things. But because to me, first of all, when we talked about sales, to me, a confused mind never buys. Right? If
Mhm.
I'm confused about your offer or what you do or what you provide, what your promise is, probably not going to buy. That same
Yep.
thing applies to me with, the production of the service, the actual delivery of the service. And the more complex I make it, the one, all right, we've talked about this. The one that pisses me off the most, when I can't find the cancel button for like subscriptions,
Yep.
right?
Very intentional. Yep.
They made something that should be super simple. In my mind, cancel, and that's it. But they'll hide it, or they make you call, or they make you email, or they make you do all these other things, thinking that it promotes less churn. I think by me talking about it, it promotes less sales. Hey, don't go
Yeah.
there, because you can't get out of it. It'll take you a month to figure out how to get out of this thing, and I can't even guide you back to it.
Yeah. But it's also like, if we did that, we would have to have layers, right? So we just say, just hit us up in chat, because we have questions. How do you want us to handle your data? How do you want this? How do you want that? And then we always want the opportunity just to say, any sort of feedback would be very, very welcome. So it gives us the opportunity to feedback. So we don't hide it. We actually make it clear, just like, hey, you need to cancel, just like hit us up in chat. But it's because we need to go, how do you want us to handle this? How do you want this to work out? Right. So what's simpler? I don't know. Right. Like that's, but there's services where you can tell it's like quitting the gym. They're intentionally making it really difficult at times to do something that's simple. That should be simple.
You would think. I mean, you probably already quit in your mind. You stopped going and still paid for 5 more months. Like, I should cancel that subscription.
Yeah, I had one the other day that I got caught on, that I was really frustrated. I had a subscription to a channel in Canada to watch CFL football last fall, and I swear I even remember canceling it. And then all of a sudden I see it on my bill, and I'm like, I've been paying for it for months. And I swear I canceled. I was so frustrated when that happened. I want a list of everything that I'm paying for all the time in one little space. I think there probably are services like that, but that's one of those things that kind of drives me nuts.
Well, businesses do this all the time. I've done it. You probably done it. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I got on a plane. You've heard, you ever fly Southwest? Maybe not. You ever fly?
Yeah, I have. It's been a while, but yeah, I have. Yeah.
Do you remember in the past where it was just, they gave you a boarding group, like you're an A or a B or a C or something like that, and then you just get on the plane. Get on the plane, you throw your bag wherever there's a spot, and boom, you sit down.
Yeah.
Wherever there's a spot. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't a premium type experience, right? Because they were so outside of the rest of the market, where everybody says, no, I got seat 7F or whatever that is. And
Yeah.
So Southwest has tried to make that shift recently. So they're making the shift to give you an assigned seat. And really, I think there was an attempt to increase fares. Because you got to remember that on other airlines, if I'm in the back, it's one price. If I'm in the middle, it's another price. At the front, it's another price. Southwest, you didn't have that. Everybody paid the same price relatively. based on, demand and fullness of the plane and all that type of stuff. But relatively, it didn't matter where you sat because you didn't know you were going to sit, right? So they went to this. They did the price changes. They're trying to provide a more premium experience to some folks. And the problem they're having now is that they've trained people for decades to get onto a Southwest plane and throw their bag in the first open spot. That's drilled in. The person say, hey, put your bag in the first open spot you see. Well, now what's happening is people are still doing that. They might have a seat at the back of the plane, throwing their stuff in the front. Then that means the person that actually has that seat doesn't have a place for their bag, right? And so they got to move their bag back behind their seat. And hey, traffic's one direction on a plane.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
We're getting on or getting off.
Yeah.
So adding, what they thought would be simpler, we're just going to let you guys, we're going to go back to what everybody else does, added a layer of complexity of how they load the planes, where now what used to be a fun experience with Southwest, where they'd make jokes and sing songs and stuff like that while people were getting on. Now they have to be like the gatekeepers, like going, hey, are you sitting here? No, then you got to move your bag back to wherever you're sitting. I'm like, oh, shit, that was a whole different experience with Southwest getting on the plane.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't Southwest, but I kind of think maybe it was, or maybe it was Alaska. I can't remember, but I was on an airline a number of years ago and was putting my bag up into the baggage thing up top there. And they had a big sign with an illustration. It just said, try it lengthwise. And then it showed pictures of people putting their bag in and slamming it because the bag was too long. And basically they're just saying, turn it. And I thought, oh man, where have we come as a society if we can't figure out how to put a bag in
and close the door
like that and make it fit? It was quite funny. It's I was maybe this is a bit off topic, but we were talking about like the chaos of getting on a plane and that we were at a Red Bull event in downtown Phoenix last weekend. And they were racing. They had the RB7 F1 car, and they were zipping it up and down the street. And they had some other series and motorbikes and stuff, and they're doing these stunts up and down the street. And so I'll just go down and watch. It's free, right? So it was kind of free, and it was simple. You just kind of walk in and you watch and you leave. But the problem was there must have been 100,000 people down there trying to watch this thing. And we got there early enough so we would have kind of front row so we could see it well. But then I'm like, we're not staying for all, it starts to get repetitive. We're going to leave before everybody else does. It was so crowded that we actually got to the point where we were getting crushed and you couldn't move. There was no place to walk. And so I've started to go like, this could turn into something bad real quick. So I grabbed Heather and we went the other way and we basically pushed back through the crowd and we went into a parkade thinking I could probably get out the other end. And we could actually get out the other side. And then but there were people sitting up on ledges and all over the place. And I'm like, okay, this is someone getting sued by the end of this because it was like chaos and it was really quite dangerous. And then on top of it was really quite hot out. And I just thought, it seemed like a really reasonable kind of simple idea. In practice, it did not work with that level of a crowd. And it was like, okay, yeah, you know what? That probably should have been out at the racetrack, charge people, do whatever you need to do. That didn't, it worked, but boy, it didn't work. And it was not a great situation, I don't think. And I'm sure it sounded really smart in the boardroom. In practice, it was not. It was a bit of a dangerous situation for a lot of people there.
Well, have you seen the rush? I mean, you're talking about just like process optimization, stuff like that. Have you seen in the roadways, the new rush to do those crossover type intersections? Have you seen that? That looks like they call it like a diamond.
Oh, the kitty corner where you cross kitty corner kind of thing?
No. I'm talking about like, Utah's got them. We're building one here. I've seen them other places. We drive on the right side of the road, but in some intersections, you cross over and drive on the left side of the road and then back to the right side of the road.
Yes, there is one
in do that.
you know what? I actually think it is. I think it is Utah. I think it's Cedar City, Utah. If I remember the town that it's in.
I mean, I go there all the time.
Yeah, there's one intersection where I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to the left side. And you think you're going to get like T-boned and stuff. You don't, but it feels really weird.
It actually is better for people trying to get on the interstate because I don't have to make a turn across traffic.
Yeah.
Right. I'm already on that side and I just go and get up there. So I think there's probably some science behind it's better.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe getting on, getting off. It's just like in Texas where we got the turnaround lanes where I can bypass all the stoplights, on the overpass or whatever, just by using the turnaround. I just turn around. Right.
Yeah.
Because if I was going this way and I need to get on the other side and go back the other way, I don't have to stop for anybody. There's no stop signs, no stoplights, nothing. I just turn.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to do that, but it's confusing, man. It's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So there's a learning curve that has to go. Is it simpler? I don't know. I'd love to know how many people freak out over it.
Well, and like one of the I think traffic tragedies is that like even in Edmonton, we used to have a lot of traffic circles, and one by one they started to take them out. And there's so few down here. I think now we have one down here. They work better. They move traffic better. The instance of serious collisions is almost none. Fender benders, yes, they get some fender benders. They do not get people running a red light and T-boning and very serious. And it just simply moves traffic really well. But I think they've kind of been forced to take it out because people just are I think they don't understand them and they're quite negative, even though it's like the stats are all there. But public opinion matters more than speed and safety, unfortunately.
I worked an accident on one as a trooper. You just come up, you're supposed to slow down and, you just kind of zipper in, right? I don't mind a roundabout or what'd you call it? Traffic circle?
Traffic circle, but a roundabout is, just another phrase for it, yeah.
This guy went straight instead of on the roundabout. It went straight, and usually there's something in the middle, right? I don't know, fountain or grass or bushes or whatever it is in the middle, right? Something in the middle of the circle. He hit it and took off like a ramp. And the car flips over, lands on his top, and skids down the middle of the street on the opposite side, like 360 of the thing. I'm like going, how does that happen? I mean, drinking for one, but
that would probably explain a lot.
But still, I'm like, I'd never seen that. You know what else will flip over a car from an accident point of view?
No.
In Missouri, I was on I was a traffic, highway patrolman, 2-lane road. A pig gets out of the pen, comes onto the roadway. Guy hits it and it flips his car over because it was so low and so hard. It just flipped the car over. It ain't like hitting a deer where, maybe they're going to come through the windshield, do a bunch of damage. No, this actually flipped the car, got up underneath. Underneath it and caused it to flip over. Is that crazy?
Oh, that's nuts. Okay, one time I did have a weird experience in a traffic circle, and this was like 30 years ago or more. Big traffic circle in Edmonton. It's no longer there. I was going around the traffic circle and a wheel came through the middle of traffic circle, hit the air, was bouncing through. And I'm like, holy shit. And I looked back and it was like a yellow Trans Am, a little bit of rust and stuff sitting on and it's like down on one hub. I was missing the wheel. I'm like, oh shit, that guy lost his wheel.
Dude, I worked an accident on I-44 near Springfield, Missouri as a reconstructionist. Same thing. Wheel comes off of a trailer.
Ooh.
Right? Here's what you don't realize. When a wheel comes off of a car going 60, 70, 80 mile an hour, it will pass the car that it's on. It comes off, and if it's still rolling, there's no more weight. There's no more, control keeping it there. But it still has the velocity. It still has the force. The driver of the truck says, yeah, I saw it. It passed me. I didn't think it was mine. The wheel come off the back of the trailer, passes the front of the truck, goes down into the median. And, they got the medians kind of, because they're for drainage as well.
Yeah.
Goes down, comes up the other side, takes off like a ramp, goes through the windshield of another truck coming this way.
Oh,
so this car, this wheel was going like 125 miles an hour. As it hit the driver and windshield of the driver of another truck going 70 mile an hour in the opposite direction. So it's like a 200 mile an hour collision.
Bullet. Yeah.
I ended up being an expert, witness on it just to do the math behind, rise over run, launch angle, speeds, those type of things. It was like the craziest thing I ever worked in my life.
That's just nuts. That's like you think about the closing speed on that. It's amazing. People don't realize, I think, how much, you're driving down at highway speed. They don't really stop and think about how much velocity, momentum, and everything.
Yeah. Do you expect a tire to come through your windshield? He's in a semi. Yeah. The guy that got hit was in a semi, and the tire came through his windshield.
Jeez.
There's no moving. It can't, on a semi too, you can't like just jerk the wheel and avoid something.
Yeah. No, that's just frightening. Stay home.
Yeah.
Order it.
That was a weird job. I mean, and traffic accidents get really complex.
Mm.
I mean, there's no, you think, it's a simple fender bender. Almost never. If somebody gets hurt or there's property damage, almost never is it just simple.
Yeah.
There's always something complex to it. So, the thing I hate now, and Courtney goes, why do you always want to go in that line? I'm like, because there's a person in that line. I don't like self-checkout. I know it's supposed to be easier. I don't think it's easier. I don't think it's faster. There's always a line at self-checkout.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a 50-50. Like there's places where I'm like, I've got an item, it's got a barcode, and there's no line in self-checkout. I am going through there because I'm like expert. I can get through so fast. But I'm not standing in line for self-checkout when there's people over here that I can just go. And the big one for me is grocery stores when I have fruit and vegetables and you have to code them in and stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Well, generally there's beer in the thing. So generally there's beer in the cart, which means I'm going to be asked for my ID. Probably gonna have to wait for them to do whatever else they're doing. If I'm in the checkout line, it's real easy. My ID's already out. Yeah. You see it, you get it. I don't know. It seems faster.
Yeah. No, it probably is. I'm still not like, would I rather probably have all the aisles there with people? Yeah, I would, but that's not coming back. It's just simply not coming back.
No, probably not. But they could make it different, right? Because here's what makes it difficult. Like, I have a case of beer. They don't give me enough space to put my groceries and everything and the case of beer on that little weighted thing that says, you have not placed an item in the baggage area. I'm like going,
oh, yeah.
Right. But it's not going to fit there. I already got like 6 bags there. Or it'll be just one thing. You're like, oh, you didn't place that. I'm like, I know, I rang it up and I put it in the cart. It's rang up. Why do you care if it's on that thing now?
Yeah, no, can you not put it down and then move it, or can't you? I don't really know what the rules are with those things.
I don't know either. I just know that they're weighing something, that bottle is supposed to weigh, 1.2 pounds. And if they don't, after you ring it up and they don't feel it on that scale, it's like a blocker sometimes to the process.
Yeah.
One, if it's rang up, why do you care if it's on that pad or if it's in the cart? If it's rang up.
Yeah, you're already paying for it.
Right.
What are they making sure? Are you taking, like, I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. You basically have committed to pay for it already.
What they should do is weigh the cart while you're standing in line or you're in the queue line. Weigh the cart, like going, hey, this cart has 50 pounds of stuff. right? They know the cart weighs, 10 pounds, right? It's more than that. But so
Yeah.
they should be expecting 40 pounds of goods.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. I ring it all up. It comes up to 40 pounds. Boom, we're good. Ring it all up.
Makes way more sense. Yeah, it
Way more
doesn't make
sense.
sense after you've rung something to put it down, and then they go, "Yes, I confirm you've just paid for 4 liters of milk." Yeah, no kidding. I told you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
scanned
told
it.
you.
You
I,
know
I
that.
see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange. Yeah, you're right.
That
Doesn't make
that
sense.
seems more, and I think that's kind of what they do. Like you ever been to one of the Amazon Go stores? This is where I think convenience and simplicity really excelled. The problem with that, the Amazon Go stores, when they started coming out, I always felt like I was stealing something.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't been there, right, an Amazon Go store, you go in, and now they got them at the same variation at like airports and things like that. You just go in, everything's got RFID, so you pick it off, you have your little basket of stuff, and you just walk out, right? So it knows what you have, and then as you go through the checkout, which is not a checkout, it's not a blocker, it's not a gate, it's just like when you go through, it scans all the RFID stuff that you have in your basket or on your person, and you pay for it with the credit card that's on file with Amazon. So after you leave the store, it'll give you a receipt. Bring! That's what you did. It was hard for me to get past the feeling the first couple times of,
Yeah.
did I pay for that? Because the receipt takes a couple of minutes to process. I hope I didn't just walk out with that.
Yeah. I hope, but sort of hope they made a mistake.
Sure. But at
Got my beer
time,
for free.
that was the simplest shopping I'd ever done, because you just walk in, grab your stuff, whatever you want. I want the soda, I want the sandwich, I want these 4 things here. Put them in a little bag, walk out. Easy. That's one time it was a win. Definitely one time it was a win. So if you talk about complexity as a business decision, think about things in your business. What could be complex at dry run for a customer? Let's talk about it from the user's point of view.
Well, there's a learning curve for the software guaranteed. Now there's now that I think we've found that right market, and we're talking with CFOs and mostly CFOs, some controllers. They're very, very fluent. They're already doing this in a spreadsheet, which means when we show them the software, it's amazing. It's complex software, and they sit there and go, yeah, oh, yeah, good, yeah, no, get it, awesome. Does it do this? And you're like, oh, geez, that's a huge benefit, because they're basically power users coming in, right? The complex part for us is sometimes translating not just what they're doing now, because that isn't always the best format, is translating the business process and their goals. So ultimately, it's like, we want to present this to management. Okay, let's start there and work backwards. How do they like to see things? How do they view things? What makes sense to them? How do they like to categorize things? And then we work our way back, and then you kind of get this list of like the DNA of their business. And then, okay, now how do we translate that into dry runs so that we can format, get everything all sorted out? And then it's just simply, all right, now we just train you how to use it. Mm-hmm. But it's that middle ground of, let's understand the DNA of your business and figure out how we build out this customized solution within. Basically, it's like Lego. It's like, within all the stuff that we have that pops together and clicks together, and you can move and do this. It's a lot of times getting to the root of it, and sometimes getting them to let go of the spreadsheet that they have in their mind to go, now what's going to make things easier for you? That's a challenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Here's what's interesting about that, though. You have a power user that gets the product. They just get it, right? Instantly. That's kind of a cool thing. Because in my past, I haven't had that. There's always some type of onboarding, education type thing we had to do. And if I think of complexity, my biggest problem has always been making pricing simple. Like, even in my current company, like, I thought, well, I'll just a la carte everything because I'll do live coaching, I'll do video courses, I'll do software, seminars. I mean, got all these things, and it gets complex really fast. Now, what am I buying? So over the past 3 or 4 years, I'm just saying, we'll just group that together. I give them that, so one price, here's what you get for one price. And now what happened is that I'm going to have to create pricing tiers for scale, meaning should Joe Smith CPA pay the same as KPMG? Vice versa,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so there's layers that have to happen, but keeping them simple to where everybody understands what I'm paying for, what do I get, and how it's fair to everybody of all sizes is hard. It's hard to build that in to the I mean, do I restrict services? Do I, shut off features? Every time you make that decision, it's more complexity.
Yeah, but complex doesn't. It's there's also the layers of accuracy and fairness, perceived fairness, right? So with our kind of, we still have some small business packages. It's very simple pricing. It's like this much per month, and you just sign up and off you go, right? But as soon as we started working with mid-market businesses, it was the opposite. We have some sort of starting prices, but it's all customized. It's a customized proposal, a customized plan, customized pricing. That's what they're comfortable with. And I learned that back in my agency days. When we were doing small business, it was kind of, they kind of want a package deal for everything, right? When you start working with much larger businesses, what we found, the more detail, the better. So we would do like a 20, 30 like line or pages and pages of almost like line items. And it helped us to figure out what we were pricing. Now we didn't break down hours and things like that, but we had a price for this, a price for that, right? Never got questioned on it because it was very transparent. And I think, see, the thing is, when the deal gets fairly big, a business isn't necessarily, they want to be like, I want what's right for me, which it might be the exact same price and everything to the person down the street, but it's a benefit if they don't think that. If they think you said, I made this package that is like a glove for you, it is perfect for you for what your needs are, because otherwise they're thinking, well, am I paying for stuff I don't need? Am I paying for users I'm not using? Am I paying for this? So the more customized, and so this is where sometimes I see business owners, and I see it a lot with CPAs, they a package. If you want to serve, there's a breaking point and you want to serve bigger businesses, a package is hurting you because you will say, hey, you have your gold package and it's got all this stuff that they never talked about. And there's 10 things they don't need. And the competitor will go in, maybe even with a higher price, and will say, I've talked with you. This is exactly what you're telling me you need. This is the price for exactly what you need. And that's the difference between buying a shed off the shelf and chucking it together in the afternoon in your yard, and working with an architect to design your house so that it suits you.
Yeah. So what I think you just described was, what feels like a custom thing, but you gave it to them simply. Everything you just described to me, this is what you need. And that's how I'm telling people to sell advisory services now, right? You just add in stuff. I'm saying lead with advisory. And then if you got to do the bookkeeping, that's kind of in there. If you got to do the tax returns, that's kind of, it's in there. We're going to do this. We're going to put hidden cash in your pocket. Oh, by the way, we got to do your bookkeeping. We got to do this, but it's all included in the one price. Right.
Yeah. But it's just detailed.
Yeah, it's detailed. We're going to do all these other things too.
Yeah.
But what you described was a simple way of describing the service, even though it's a complex service.
Yes, but it's a simple way of describing it, but it's not. See, people think the simple is, like I said, the bronze, silver, gold. You go to sell the gold and they say, I've already got a bookkeeper. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And you lose the deal rather than
up in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than like, I listened to you. I heard what you want. I'm repeating back to you what you've asked for. Here's the price.
See, exactly right. Because I think simplicity is now a differentiator because they're going to go to 3 other, vendors that all have the gold, silver, and bronze package, and they're going to show you all these things. And then there's you that goes, no, my price is $3,500. You get exactly what you want.
Yeah. And no, I will.
No more selections, what you got to do.
Yeah. So like, I think that's important, but proving that, like I said, I think proving that you've listened to them is a thing. That's why we used to have really detailed quotes, because you're proving to them, you listen to them and they know what they're paying for. And so for them, it's simple. It's like, here's a list and this is the price. And it's not, now there might be lots of items. They can read it. They understand it. It's very simple. It's categorized. It's all of that. But it isn't necessarily, here's this one number. Because that's the other thing you can do is just go like, here's this one number, bottom of the page. And they kind of go, well, how did you come up with that number? And it's a bit of show your math, right? So there's that comfortness of some sort of, here's how I came up with a number. I saw on somewhere online in the last couple of weeks, it was funny, and I'm sure a lot of people have probably seen this, but it was, and it might be totally fake, but it was probably is, but it was a little cell phone conversation. And it said, all it said was, hey, can you, like a text coming back from a potential client, hey, can you break down this price for me? And then the response was, sure. $2,500 if I do the job, $0 if I don't. I thought that was kind of funny, but it does speak to the fact that the customer was uncomfortable with, and just uncomfortable with what they would perceive the lack of transparency. So where is the, did you just pull that number out of your ass, or does it make sense? Because you're telling me it kind of makes sense. There's some sort of breakdown. So simple isn't, it's again, it's like the one button thing. It's like one number. If you only have one number, it's simple. Yeah. But in the customer's mind, it's not simple, because it there's all this hidden stuff that they don't see. Simple is, I'm breaking it down, not too much, but enough. There's a middle ground. That's what makes things in business really challenging. It's not usually the extremes. There's a middle ground, is what makes sense for you, what makes sense for your customer, knowing them. And that's how you build something that makes sense, right?
So what businesses should break that down, right? Because I don't want to be questioned on every single line item.
Well, no, but that's again, like, knowing where the balance is. What do your customers expect? Like I said, the bigger businesses we worked with, the more detail we gave. We thought the first few times we were going to get questioned on everything. The opposite happened. They never questioned anything, because there were so many freaking items, and they all were actually seemed kind of smallish when you look at it. And then they add up to a big number. And what are they going to do? Go through them and go, hey, how come you're charging me for this? Frankly, if somebody came in and said, how come your project management fees are this much? I'd probably, there's a good chance they go, yeah, we're not doing work for you. Because I'm not getting nickel and dimed, right?
Right. You probably don't need a project manager. You can be the project manager.
Yeah. It's like, well, we want this to, work, not be a complete flop.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you came to me as the expert in this field. So
yeah, but we just never had that problem. We would get questioned, but it was also knowing the customer. Again, like with small business, it was always a challenge. And it was, when we got to bigger business, mid-market enterprise, especially government, they just needed the breakdown. They would look at it and go, yeah, makes sense. And it's just never kind of ask. And the funny thing was, there were times where there'd be like an RFP, or we would be talking with the customer, and it's like they have a budget in mind. It cannot go above X. It cannot go above $120,500 or whatever, right? Okay, here's the breakdown. Oh, look, it worked out to the exact same amount. Never cared, ever. They never cared. And it was never that we could pocket anything extra. It was always like, how the hell are we going to do this for that amount? All right, let's figure it out. And if we even can, there's never extra money. They know that, right?
You could put a line in there that says, see if you're looking. $400.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like,
That's funny. Hey, can I tell you something I'm always envious of? Right?
my record player. No, go ahead. Yeah, I'm just.
No, it's different than that. Matter of fact, I'm not envious of that at all. But
Should be. It's awesome.
you always take every year at this time, you take a week-ish, whatever it turns out to be, and have an amazing road trip from Scottsdale all the way back to Canada.
Yeah.
I'm always
we do
envious.
actually.
Damn, that's just such a cool thing you do every year.
It's really fun, and we do it actually kind of almost over 2 weeks. But that's kind of our annual holiday. Like we do it somewhere around Christmas and everything. But that's our annual holiday, because what we found is, we're not going on a summer vacation. We might go away for a few days, or I might take a few days off, make a long weekend into a week or something. But in the summer, everybody is on vacation. Everything's busy. The kids are off of school. I'm like, we're not going anywhere where it's all families, kids, and overpriced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Edmonton is beautiful in the summer. Like, we can hop on our bikes and go do our brewery tour and everything. So it's beautiful. So this is the perfect time for us. So we will, we'll head over to California, just north of San Diego, into some of the cool little surfer towns. And then we'll just start working our way up the coast, all the way to Cannon Beach is another big highlight as we get up north into Washington.
You do the same stops, or you do something different each time? Like, we haven't done this yet. We're gonna do this one.
Yeah, we always try and do like Cannon Beach. We're doing pretty much every year because we just love it, right? We've been doing Encinitas a lot lately. We probably do that, but we always try and mix in 1 or 2 stops we've never been to before. So it's kind of like half the trip are places we've been, half the trip are usually, or a quarter trip, places we've never been, and we just want to try something new.
Yeah, where's your skateboard shop? Don't you always go to one of the skateboard shops? I forget. It's one of the old school ones.
Yeah, not every time. I think there's one in Santa Barbara, which is awesome. It's original Pal Peralta skate shop. And there's another one, Mike McGill's skate shop is in Encinitas, California. I've got an autographed deck from Mike McGill. I got an autographed deck from the artist from Pal Peralta. So I always try and make going to some skate shops if I can, and some of the breweries, and we got our favorite restaurants, and then we just explore some new places every time too. So
Russian River, you always stop there?
Usually stop at, almost every time we stop at Russian River. We stay in Santa Rosa, such a great hotel. And you know what? I got to say, my favorite spot in Santa Rosa, it's not Russian River. It's this Italian restaurant in there that's just amazing. We love it. We go there every year. Yeah.
Is it Santa Rosa? Is that where the Peanut Museum is? The comic?
Oh, I have no idea.
Dude, it's fantastic. If you go there, I don't know if it's Santa Rosa or somewhere in that area.
Okay.
The Peanut comic, Charles Schultz Museum. Yep. My museum is like, I guess it's kind of a museum, but I mean, check it out. I mean, I did
to see if it's there.
Spent the whole afternoon there. I mean, just you can see the oldest drawings, interviews, the letter. I mean, just you know how it is. I mean,
yeah, nice.
It's a really cool history of the Peanuts comic.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to see if that's where it is, because I'd love to go there, and I'm a big Joe Cool fan.
Yeah, there you go.
Snoopy when he's got his sunglasses on. But this year we are considering we might divert from Santa Rosa and go to Napa or Sonoma for a night instead. So we're just kind of debating a bit, but usually that's one of our guaranteed stops. And then the last stop on the trip is Jasper, Alberta. That's our last stop before we head home, and just a beautiful area of the world. So that's always a fun place to stop too. So
got it. Well, August, flying into San Francisco, probably going to do a little bit of time in Napa, Sonoma. I'm speaking to the SBDC in Sacramento.
Nice,
next month I got Salt Lake City, speaking with the SBDC in Salt Lake City. So, yeah, man, I'm not quite as cool as you because I have to travel for work. You just travel because you're awesome like that.
It's just a commute. That's really all it is a commute. We don't even call it travel. It's like just heading home the long way, you know?
All right. Yeah. Well, hey, man, 230. Can you believe that? This is 230 episodes, and wouldn't do it with another guy but you.
No, this is my favorite time every week. We'll try not to miss too much when I'm driving up the coast. And again, if you guys want to like, sponsor, follow, go to mikeandblaine.com, buy us a beer. And remember what Mike said. We get, actually, you know what? We get on average 85,000 views a month of our shorts, and we get thousands of views of our episodes and listens and everything all combined. We're on a bunch of different platforms, and when you add them all up, we actually get a lot of coverage. So, so you can get in front of a lot of people for $5. Well, we keep it $5. We're keeping it $5 an episode for now, but who knows? Maybe we'll have inflation in 2030 or something.
Who knows? But I mean, right now, the average price of a beer is around $5. You know, I mean, sometimes more, sometimes less, but you know, we'll say $5.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the beer I buy because I go to the snooty beer store and spend way too much on picking.
I bring the average down. I bring the average down.
You bring it down, I bring it up. Although, but that is how I ended up with a bunch of Guinness in the fridge, because those go on sale and they're dirt cheap, and it's actually a really nice beer. So it's and if you are in Scottsdale, I got to mention again, go over to Pinnacle, try Bearded Barbecue. It's unbelievable, and they also have great beer there. It's just a terrific spot. If you haven't been there, you got to check it out.
All right, man. We'll see you next week.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.